gonna start it off with me, Rambo, Beezy, start from the beginning of with me being raised by, my grandma and grandfather. I come from a family where, if you grow up in Southwest, you're not basically like, you're not rich. But they had it, where I was a kid growing up, I had things, I didn't have a lot, but it ain't like I starved. You know how people, come with the story like they was molested, they was beat. That never was happening to me, It wasn't a whole lot of hearing, I love you, but it was love there because the family was big. And I was, the first grandson, starting the next family tree of my family when my grandmother had her kids, and then to start with my mom, the kids, the siblings that had theirs, I was the first. So, I always considered myself and felt special like I'm the first grandson, and even more special that I was born on my mother's birthday. So when she turned 16, her birthday gift was a son, me. So I come out to the world, so my mother and father standing there, they trying to figure out my name, and my dad says, I don't want to name him George, because I don't want the kids teasing him. He told me the story of Georgie there, so he said, I want to name him after his grandfather, because Mr. Russell is stern, he hard, he about his business, and that's a hard name. So we said, if I want to name him after somebody I look up to, that's why my name is Russell. I'm named after my grandfather, Mr. Russell, Russell Stearns. And my middle name is George. I'm named after my father. And my father is the guy who started the Zip gang down 58th Street. It was no gang down there. It was back in the 60s, early 70s, it was the whites called the Dirty Annies beating up all the blacks. So when my father moved in the hood, he came, George Hobbs, he could fight, so he started the Zip gang. So with me, I had to be special because my mom is thorough, and my dad was the guy who started, Mill, you behind the camera, they say that's 58th Street 58 Zip gang.
Yeah, exactly.
My dad started that.
Never knew that.
You never knew that. My dad, started the Zip gang. That's why the OGs give me my proper respect. And I never took advantage of it because I knew who my father was. Everybody, when they scream the Zip, I'm from the Zip, 58th Street, they screaming, but my father started. He's like an OG Bobby Johnson.
Okay.
He's like a, not on that extent, but the dude from the Black Panthers, Huey Newton. You started something. That's now, it's 20 and 30 years later, they still screaming it and repping it. So that I had to be special. My mom, she's special. You go down to my neighborhood, my dad is who he was, but my mom is more known than him.
Okay.
She gets more love. Jan. I remember he told me a story. Back this I wasn't even born. He was like, his friends, they all boxed back in the day. And he told his homie, you can't beat my woman in fighting. So he sick my mom on, they start body boxing. My dad said my mom hit him with a body shot. Boom, he said his homie went down. He said, you can't get my woman. My mom knocked his homie out with a body shot. My mom was the real deal. That's why my name is Rambo, the son of Jan. I'm about to change my whole rap name, but you just call me the son of Jan, because that's who I am anyway. So don't even call me Rambo, because really that's Sylvester Stallone. Somebody gave me that name. Beezy, the street stuff. What I'm known as, the son of Jan. So from now on, when you see me, call me the son of Jan. What you say when you see me, oh, who was that? Oh, that's the son of Jan. That's Jan's son. Just that was a great woman. She taught me everything. Like my father was a stern dude, but he wasn't around, but I respected him.
Right.
But my mom taught me how to be a man, and she really taught me how to be a man, and she's a woman. Like my mom shot people, hustled. Like she taught all of us how to hustle. Taught us the game. Like you ask any dude down there, they're gonna tell you, oh, Jan put me on. This is a woman.
So your mom was sort of something like 50 Cent mom?
Yes, that's why when the movie came out, people was like, 50 is living, 50 made a movie about Beezy's life. But my mom didn't get murdered, she had a heart attack at 44. Everybody seen Get Rich or Die Trying was like, yeah, that's Rambo's movie. They could have did that about him. It's just I wasn't shot 9 times, but we lived it.
Right.
Like you heard me playing earlier with the guy that knocked on the door, and I said, what's the code word? He didn't know it. I said, you ain't getting in, because we had a code word in one of my mom's spots on 52nd Street or 51st and Chancellor. When the customers knocked, they got the code was bullshit on the corner, because we was going to war with the guys on the corner. So that was the code. If you couldn't get in unless you said it's bullshit on the corner, because they had bullshit on the corner. Right. If they didn't, they would have been knocking on our door 24/7. So My mom really was a special woman. I mean, everybody got love for their mother, but mine was deeper. As you could say, with yours is deeper. We were born on the same day.
Wow.
When she came into this world January 22nd, I came into this world January 22nd. That's just, it was special to me. We had parties all the time together. That woman, you know, made me into a man. She was really showing me even how to take care of my kids, because my mom was there for my kids more than I was, because I was just so young. And she was just a wonderful woman. Like, you know, people looking at this, you should get emotional and feel me, because this is my mother. So if you're looking at it, you know how you feel about your mother. Because when she left me, I tell people all the time, it felt like a part of my soul left me. Because you look at it in the casket like this is the person that had you, carried you for 9 months, is no longer here to talk to you. My mom was my best friend. I went to my mom about everything.
Right.
From sex to catching diseases to money, helping me out getting abortions with girls when I was young, acting crazy, not pulling out, everything. I'm a guy who spills my heart. And she planted that seed into me as far as my dad too, because he was special. That's why I say on a song called Enemy, I said, fucking with my mama and papa, I knew I'd be special. I don't need your drink, I got my Rambo special. I knew that. An old woman named Miss Tina told me, I knew you was gonna grow up to be special, Russell, because your mom and dad, it's not one cool and one is fake. Both was thorough. You got the leader who started the neighborhood gang and the woman who everybody respected got their drugs from. And my mom played the streets. You know, back in the day, getting high was you getting money.
Right.
And she always told me never look at nobody no different than who they is. That's why I respect OGs. If they cracked out, I still shake their hand because I know who you is. See, I'm talking right here now so y'all can get to know me and not always get to know all about music and talk about I'm promoting this, I'm promoting that. Get to know me, then you understand my music when you hear me rapping and talk about it and know my struggle and my journey. And then you will understand where I'm coming from. So you won't think he's talking a lot of mess and a lot of garbage and all that stuff. What comes out of my heart is real. And when I come from here, it's always real and it's never going to be fake. I talk about everything I go through from when I was little, peeing in the bed, being lazy, not getting up. I got a song called Russell. I got a song called Forgive Me for My Sins, where I'm talking to God. You know, I'm kind of pissed, but I'm not pissed, because I had a song called The Devil Is a Lie. And everybody know I did it now. Rick Ross and Jay-Z come out with it. So now if I bring it out, it's like everybody looking like I'm copying, but I already had it. But it's just me slacking on my game and could have got it out there, but letting the devil get in my head because he's a liar, like, don't bring it out. People gonna think you crazy, and it was him. I'm telling people he's a lie, and I'm listening to him.
Yeah. So,
you know, his job is to mess with us 24/7. He never stopped sending his soldiers. So when people, like, I'm going back to when people hear my music, they understand where I'm coming from, that I've really been through that struggle of losing my mother, losing my grandmother, who my grandmother was even more greater than my mother. So you knew my mom was going to be great because she came from a great woman. My grandma raised me, adopted me. You know, I give my mom the credit as I got into deep in my teenagehood. I wanted the freedom from my grandma. But from a baby to like 18, I was with my grandmother Arlene. And she didn't play that. My grandfather Russell, who was stern, who was a roofer, who was out getting the money. Come home on the weekends, hand it out, boom, boom, and leave. He's a provider. I couldn't learn from him because I was young. And I didn't understand. He was a provider. But I never had nobody teach me how to be a father. My dad wasn't around. My grandfather was working, so he couldn't be around. My uncles was with him roofing, working, and couldn't teach me because they didn't know. So I had to learn from a woman. Like every great dude, you hear the stories from Jim Jones to 50 to Kanye. Everybody moms plays that part. You rarely hear about the fathers, even though it's not bad, but that's just how it is. I'm one of them dudes that's just in this world that went through that journey too of mom being great. And it's not copying. When they had the movie, I watched Get Rich or Die Trying, I swear to y'all, at least 5,000 times. Because I related to that movie because I'm like, yo, that's me. And then to see his struggles and pain, I slept in my grandmother's basement just like him. I slept on my grandmother's floor in the living room for 10 years and walked with my head up because my cousin Nene was in the back room. My Aunt Pat was in the middle room and grandfather and grandmom in the front room. And then there was a family friend named Dave who rented the basement, stayed in the basement. I slept on the floor for 10 years. So when y'all look at me and say, oh, Rambo, he's talking all this, he's feeling like he's Pac. When I say I'm feeling like Pac, I'm saying I'm feeling the struggle, the pain. He's the deepest guy who related to that. So that's why I say that. I'm not saying I think I'm him. I'm like, yo, that pain that he was trying to deliver to the world is where I'm coming from. Because once death started happening in my family, I got caught with the biggest one. I never had no funerals and no deaths in my family till the first one with my grandmother. I didn't know what to do. That was the biggest. Mm-hmm. I was getting hit with the big ones. Grandma, boom. Then the next one, Grandpa, who I'm named after and was, there providing the money, he go. And then a couple years later, my mother go. Then a couple years later, my sister go. Then I have the siblings, little cousins like little Tony, then the Ursells, then Aunt Bunny. That's hard. So once death started coming in that family, I thought it was a black cloud over my family. Because people not understanding when I say the women got to get out of my house because it seemed like the house is cursed with the women. I watched my grandmother die in the front room. I watched my mom die when she left and she moved in the front room and died of the same thing, a heart attack in that front room. Mm-hmm. Then my Aunt Jackie goes in there. She started feeling up. She thinking she had a lump in her chest and cancer. I'm like, you got to get out that front room. My Aunt Shelly's across the street over in her house in the front room. Be feeling sick, blood pressure up. It's a curse in that family. We got to break the curse. But everybody think, Rambo, you tripping, you crazy. And I'm telling them like, yo, it's a curse. We got to break that curse. I tell people with my dad,